So today I wanted to show you the Phrygian mode, how to play over a minor or major key vamp. We're going to take the key of G major, but first I'll show you the Phrygian mode in both 6th and 5th string root with the root notes of B flat and E flat. And I'll put the PDF up on the screen. Here's E flat. And if you're liking the content, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share if you'd like to. Also, we have a Patreon up on the account, and we'd really appreciate any support towards helping out a fellow musician and music educator. And as always, I'm giving one-on-one Zoom lessons if that's something you're interested in, if you'd like to study with me. Now, the purpose of using Phrygian to play modally, which is kind of the purpose of this video, is that we want to expand outside of our typical, if we were in the key of E minor pentatonic box, either that open shape or up here on the 12th fret, 12th position. Right? Both are fine, great, sound great in rock and roll and some jazz settings, but what's good about the playing modally vibe, and I like Phrygian for the approach from the 5 in both major and minor keys. So if we're in, say, E minor, and I have a simple vamp recorded here that's in E minor with like an E minor over G to an E minor chord, it just vamps over and over. If I put myself in B Phrygian, the parent Ionian mode is G major, G Ionian, which is the relative major to E Aeolian, E natural minor. So they're all relative to each other. We're playing modally here. I'm not necessarily forcing the vibe of B Phrygian as the tonal center. The tonal center is E minor. I'm just picking a different mode, position on the neck to play that same E Aeolian and E minor pentatonic scale, but staying in what I call the Phrygian position up here at 7th fret on the 6th string root. And it just kind of inspires and invokes new pathways to play different melody, different shapes, I guess, different directions on the fretboard. But as I said earlier, my favorite approach with this is the approach from the note of the 5. Now the 5 of E would be B, and that happens to be the first note in the Phrygian, right? So I'm going to play this loop and show you how I'll do some approaches from the 5 note B, and then just improvise around that, but starting on the 5, because it's good to get away from playing starting on the 1 and ending on the 1. All right, here we go with the E minor backing track. Really using that 5. It's also important to know where your roots are so you can finally resolve to the E's. There's one, there's the other one. Out of position there a little bit, that's okay. Good to find your neighbors above the position that you're in so you don't get stuck with just that position. Know that C Lydian is right above B Phrygian. So you can find that sharp 4, which happens to be the 2 in your E minor. A good way to start to sound more melodic and get out of that mode 1 of minor or mode 1 of the pentatonic box. I love that little approach from the 5. 5 flat 7 1. Okay, so that was playing in like a minor key or a minor vamp groove in E minor. We're going to take the relative major of that and play in G major. We're going to play some non-traditional chords. We're going to do D over G, down to C over G. But we're going to keep that G bass note throughout the entire time to kind of hammer home at our G major kind of sound. A little bit of a sus vibe in there too with the D over G. I'm going to stay in the B Phrygian position and find where my G naturals are, right? 10th and 8th fret on the 5th and 2nd string, to know roughly where my roots will land if I decide to use them. I don't want to do that too much. Remember, the bass player will be pedaling on a G, so that's already taken care of. I just like to build tension and then finally resolve to that G. So I'm going to, again, play in B Phrygian, but in this case, I still want to find my fifths. My fifths of G are D, so that would be the third of the B Phrygian. And I'll use that as my leading or anchor note in some of my phrasing here, because I really like the approach from the 5. It's just a great first step away from starting on the root note, which a lot of us like to do. Okay, here we go. Here's a G major vamp with B Phrygian as the focused position. Down to that B there. There's that 5 that I like to start with. Right, you get that so la ti do kind of sound. You'll notice a lot of these licks are the same ones that I would play in the minor key. That's what's so cool about relative major and minor. The same licks will translate back and forth. The way they land on these pedaled chords sounds a bit different though. And if you're a fan of the caged system, you have that D or C shaped G major chord that you're kind of playing off of, playing into. It's inside of that Phrygian shape. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Take care.